Live streaming is on.
Hello, everyone. This is Adam Meister, the Bitcoin Meister, the Disrupt Meister. Welcome to the One Bitcoin Show. Today is March the 22nd. Oh, it still is in Hawaii. 2020. Strong hand, long-term thinking. Bitcoin is the next Bitcoin. You can change your behavior. Holder of last resort. Don't scam yourself. Compete, don't complain. I'm offended by selling. Personal responsibility is new counterculture. Oh yeah, we're learning that a lot lately. Hello, my elite friends. Check out Fridays This Week at Bitcoin Show. Wild Times, Brad Mills, Christian, Andy Hoffman. It's been pretty popular. A lot of back and forth between those guys. Check out Saturday's Beyond Bitcoin Show. I talked a lot about the current events. It was a long one, so definitely check it out. And earlier today, I was outside on the streets of Los Angeles. If you like different backgrounds, if you like to see me outside hot and sweaty from running 6 miles in East Hollywood there, you'll enjoy the show from earlier today. They are all linked to below. Remember, follow me on Twitter at TechBalt, TechBalt. I tweet out stuff all day long. And all about the Wuhanic plague. Yeah, there's a lot of Wuhanic plague in the news lately, isn't there? So we'll talk about that some today. It would be nice if it was not around, but it is just the talk of the town, and it gets intertwined with everything. If you have questions, I have answers. So type in Bitcoin Meister or do a super chat so I see it, your question. I'd love to answer your question. Let's get into this. I don't even know. I've written down these notes over a long period of time. I don't even know. I don't even know if some of this still pertains to what I wanted to say. Okay. I will say this. They're going to print a lot of money. They're going to print a lot of money. And the people who have long-term thinking are not going to spend all that money on ridiculous things. The people, the 80%ers, Boobus Americanus, is going to spend that money as soon. And some of them really need to spend that money. I will say that. But there are going to be a lot of people that don't make the most of it. And yeah, the free thinkers of the world, I believe, our wealth will go up while the others, they'll get their free money. It will go down, their wealth. The gap will increase. So everyone's saying wealth is being inflated away. And indeed, the value of the dollar is being inflated away. But then it's up to the individual to do what they're going to do with their dollars. And some of us will do better. So that's why the gap will increase. And I don't really care about the wealth gap or whatever. I'm just saying, to me, it's not a real thing, but it will bother some people in the long run. That's just the way it is. There's so many people yelling about income inequality. So this won't help it because it's just the nature of the game. The 20%ers know how to make the most of these types of situations. If you can afford it, throw it into a real asset, dudes. And you know what that real asset is. Bitcoin, baby. All right. So the mainstream media seems to be waking up in this time of panic to Bitcoin. It says the Bitcoin, this is Business Insider has an article that says Bitcoin surges on market fears. Okay, and it gives the statistics. It's a positive. It the media wants to talk about all this fear and scary stuff, but they give an alternative there with Bitcoin. In this very Business Insider is very mainstream. That's linked to below if you want to check that out. Okay, so want to clear up some more confusion because the IRS totally cleared it up. July 15th is the day you're going to file your taxes now. Last day you can file in the United States. And the last day you can pay also. I linked to the official IRS release, so there'll be no misunderstanding. Check out your states. Each state is going to do it differently. So just because the IRS, the federal taxes moved to the to July 15th doesn't mean the states did. So check that out. Oh yeah, it is 1 a.m. in Los Angeles, baby. But baby, this is conviction. Conviction. Wash your hands, wear a mask, don't touch or cough on people, cover your mouth when you cough. I don't think you really need to shut down the whole economy for that. I think most people can do that, right? If you're scared, lock yourself up. If you're old, sick, decide for yourself. If lock yourself up. I'll say Wim Hof is not worried at all. I linked to a video of his before when he said, just do his breathing technique. If you want to be healthy, do his breathing technique, he says. And I linked to that, and I actually linked to his breathing technique. So all you real estate freaks out there, pound that like button, first of all. But the states aren't going to be able to print money. The federal government's printing a lot of money. And so expect your sales taxes to go up. Expect your real estate taxes to go up, okay? So another reason, and your real estate fees, your water bills, all sorts of things are going to go up. Bitcoin doesn't have that issue. Now, I'm going to talk more about real estate and Bitcoin a little bit later in the show. Altcoins, I talked about this on Saturday's show. Altcoins, they can print their own money. So I wouldn't be surprised if some people make some more altcoins now if they're down on their financial luck. Hey, more power to them. More freaking power to them if they want to do that. Don't buy it. Hopefully they'll give it away for free. More crypto dividends for us. Man, we haven't talked about crypto dividends for a while. This panic has come on, guys, get on the ball, crypto dividend makers, altcoin makers. Bring some joy into the life of the people who are all panicked and whatnot. Man, it is really late at night here. There's not that many people in the chat. Whoa. Hi, good to see you out and about. I thank you, OJ Punk. Hey guys, I got to say something here. Don't send me super chats anymore if you don't want to. Don't send me cryptocurrency. The best way you can support this show is by just spreading the word on Twitter or social media, sharing the links, because I'm putting out information. I don't want people to be in a panic prison, okay? So the closer we get, the sooner we get to having things get back to relative normal, where the media isn't in a frenzy over pumping up panics, the closer you'll be to doing well for yourself too. You'll be getting your job back. You'll be getting some things back. Because, I've said this many times. I'm not affected by this at all financially. This doesn't have anything. I mean, I still doing these videos. I plan for all this pretty well. I mean, there's some Airbnbs in the future might not refund me. Who knows? That's neither here nor there. I didn't lose a job because of this. I mean, there's some people that are so affected by all this, but I don't want people to be silenced, and I'm not silenced. I'm giving you an example of what the Bitcoin overlay is like. You can say whatever the heck you want here in the Bitcoin overlay, and I'm not scared of being canceled. So in the long run, if you support the show by spreading the word on social media, by retweeting the stuff I say to retweet, not just my stuff, Carl Denninger stuff. I mean, I give really simple stuff to do in the notes section below. And a lot of people don't read the notes section below, which is really unfortunate for them, because that's like a really important part of the show, like actually reading the other articles. But you're just an 80%er if you're just looking at my hair and stuff. I know I make jokes about my hair and whatnot, but seriously, if you're not like if you're a slave to the algorithm and you're just going to go to the next video that YouTube suggests, you should use your head and actually click on the links below and learn from them, and retweet some of those dudes too. Okay, especially ones that I say retweet this. So support the show. You will support yourself. If you support the show on social media, a lot of S's there, you're going to end up supporting yourself because it'll make the world that much closer to normality again, where you can function if you're not functioning properly right now. And by the way, I hope that all of you are in the Bitcoin overlay where it doesn't even matter to you right now, but I know a lot of people aren't in the Bitcoin overlay. So Bitcoin to the Moon said, I enjoyed the Outside in LA video. Thanks, Bitcoin Meister. You're welcome. Jord Virtuor said, Bitcoin Meister, do you believe in the deflationary curvature that will be ideal for a $10 million Bitcoin? No, I don't, because I don't believe in a $10 million Bitcoin. Bitcoin supply going from vertical to horizontal. No, I don't make tremendous predictions like that. No, I don't think Bitcoin will ever be worth $10 million, to tell you the truth. One Bitcoin, I don't know. Not in the next, not in this half of the century, at least. No, I don't. I don't believe in that. I don't try to get too. I mean, dude, won't you just be happy with 6-digit realm? I mean, 6-digit realm is pretty freaking awesome, dudes. We're one day closer to the 6-digit realm. How about that? I don't worry about graphs, curvatures of graphs. But good question though, dude. I'm glad. Hey, let's have high hopes, because Bitcoin makes it's unknown. It's unknown what the future is going to bring. Okay. So a lot of people are freaking out with the virus situation. No one knows what the next bad news is going to be. No one knows what's going to be shut down next. And to me, if you like Bitcoin and you know about the halving and everything, all this unknown is exciting. It's exciting because you don't know when Bitcoin is going to, do its major pumpage. And if you've got your wealth in Bitcoin, you're protected. So I consider the unknown exciting. Some people consider the unknown scary. And so just get into the mindset of, you know what? This unknown, there's so much potential in the future. It's a golden age. Yeah, there's a lot of unknown. There's going to be some scary numbers that come out, but it's exciting. It's exciting because if you do the right thing, if you stick to your system, sure, you're going to hear about scary things, but in the long run, you're going to win. You're going to do well. And that unknown, you're going to figure out. The unknown will become known. And some of it is going to be very good. I mean, back in 2014, 2015, when Bitcoin was going down, we didn't know if it was going to go to 150, if it was going to get stuck at $150. The future was unknown. But to me, it was exciting. It was exciting because I knew eventually, we'd get to $3,000. And sure enough, we did. So consider the unknown exciting. Don't be scared by the unknown. We don't know how all this is going to be resolved right now, but it will be resolved. And the roller coaster ride is exciting. How about that? That's the way of looking at it. Pound that, embrace the chaos, Max said. Yeah, embrace the chaos, but at the same time, try to, get rid of embrace the chaos, but say, hey, it's chaotic, dudes, but don't panic. Don't panic and don't get hysterical during it all. John again says, Bitcoin Meister, have you seen this video? Murad Mammadov, the ultimate Bitcoin argument off-chain with Anthony Pomponano. Highly recommended by me. He predicts $100 to $200 trillion market. Well, you know what? I haven't seen that. And you know what? I like Murad a lot, okay? I like Murad a lot. And so in that video, you're saying he predicts $100 trillion market, okay? Well, later in this video, I'm going to talk about how Murad's crypto fund just went out of business. So his predictions aren't always right. And the reason it went out of business was because of the big drop that happened. They weren't prepared for the big drop. So again, you probably shouldn't be pedestaling people. Be careful. And I like Murad. Murad's been on the show before, but yeah, he can predict. I'm sure he predicted his crypto fund was going to do very well also, and it now no longer exists. So I mean, and that's, hey, he tried. He tried to. I give him credit for trying something. And for me, it's always been, why give somebody else your money to invest it? You should manage your own crypto fund made up of only Bitcoin. But he and some guys came up with a crypto fund. They were all very smart guys who could make who could make huge predictions like that. And it didn't work out. So yeah. It's very interesting you brought up Murad's video when we're going to talk about him later. And it was Adaptive Capital was the name of his fund. It no longer exists. All right, so we'll talk about that in a second. That's on the to-do list in the links below. And Bitcoin to the Moon said Murad and Hoffman was a wild show. I got to tell you, like every time I had Andy on the show, I think about that actually. And Andy actually made a very brief reference. An indirect reference to that. He brought up on this Friday's show, he brought up Adaptive Capital going down the tubes. And I think I think he knows Murad has something. I don't think Andy's a big fan of Murad after that show that they were both on. I like both the guys. And yeah, John said Murad is a smart dude. Fantastic talk in that video. Please check it out. No, I'm not going to check it out at all. It's a total waste of my time, dude. He said, I understand. 100 to 200 trillion dollars. Yeah, it's great. You summed it up very nicely. It's clickbait, and dudes like that are smart. Clearly, they're not always right. It's great. You can dream, dude. You can dream. That's great. The unknown is exciting. I don't know if it's that exciting. And what is known is that, Murad and his buddies tried to do something really awesome and it totally failed. So, I mean, when you have, yeah, he could have his predictions. Very, very good predictions. I'm sure his clients enjoyed his recent predictions too. Okay. So, and again, Murad, I mean, he did his best. He was in motion. I give the guy a lot of credit for doing what he's doing. And I think they returned the client's money and everything like that. But guys, don't pedestal all these people. Murad got a huge amount of followers when he was making all these complex graphs showing how high Bitcoin was going to get. You guys fall for it every single time. And Murad's a good guy, but it's so typical. Like I can tell you exactly what works on social media with Bitcoin, and Pomp does it too. It's just like you say the most positive, most outrageous things. You make it look pretty scientific with some nice graphs. I mean, the stock to flow guy did the same thing. He did the same thing. It's just, and everyone like all of a sudden considers these guys preaching the freaking gospel that they can do no wrong. These guys are human beings. They're going to be wrong. The stock to flow thing. Everyone's like, it's guaranteed. It's going to be $200,000 on this day. No, it's not. It's not. You're putting these dudes on pedestals. There are a lot of smart guys out there. Learn from each and every one. And I think the commonality that all these guys have, I think, which is important to get, and that I share in common with them also, is that over the long term, Bitcoin is the best asset class out there. I think we can all agree on that. But a lot of guys like to, and maybe they don't do it on purpose, they make the most clickbaity things, and then you're telling me to watch something about $200 trillion. How much more clickbaity can you get than that, dude? There's only the entire wealth of the world is only $300 trillion, okay? It's a quarter of a quadrillion, some say, which is less than 300 trillion. So, I mean, let's get to the Tapiero $1 trillion Bitcoin market cap first, okay? Which is a heck of a long way from these huge numbers you're talking about, man. A $1 trillion Capiero line market cap for Bitcoin will be $56,000 Bitcoin or something. Let's get to the middle of the 5-digit realm. So, I mean, I understand the temptation in like worshiping these dudes because they come out with pretty graphs and huge numbers, but they're humans. Look, Murad's fund totally failed. It totally failed. And God bless him for trying. God bless him for trying. But it just shows you he's not some angelic perfection or whatever you want to say. Okay, just went off on a tangent there, but I'm glad I can go off on. I like getting questions from everyone. Okay. All right. And Jordan, you said Bitcoin. I believe Bitcoin is an extractor. It extracts fiat. Okay, just like ice cold wine cooler extracts heat from a worn wine bottle. This is why the all-time high in Bitcoin flattens out as more capital. You didn't finish your sentence, but I get your point, dude. I get your point. I think we can agree that Bitcoin is a freaking awesome asset class of the future. He says, Mr. Plan B said all models are wrong, but some are useful. Hey, I think that's actually, I like that. Pound that like button. I like that saying. Well, all models are wrong and many are useful. How about that? Not all are useful. Many are useful. Okay, let's keep on doing this, man. I didn't want this show to go long, but it's going long. Right. Shutting down the economy is not worth it. But there are dudes, and I mentioned this on yesterday's show, Gavin Newsom, the governor of California, and Governor Cuomo in New York are trying to outdo each other to become presidential hopefuls for 2024. And then I realized today that the Democrats could have a convention, a brokered convention, an open convention, whatever you want to call it, where they just decide, Biden isn't up for this new world that we're living in of viruses. So we need to draft Cuomo or Gavin Newsom. So don't be surprised if instead of Biden being the nominee, that someone like Gavin Newsom or Andrew Cuomo becomes the nominee of the Democrats. And that's why they're trying to outdo each other, to politically position themselves. So it boils down to, if dudes are trying to politically position themselves, how serious can all this be? How serious do they really take it? They're just trying to outdo each other with more draconian stuff. I noticed on my Steam page, my Steemit page, Bitcoin Meister, that I'm getting these unsolicited comments from people telling me how to switch to Hive and to do it now and to really just encourage me. So I will say that some former Steemians are really being proactive, trying to get everybody off of Steemit. And I linked to something pertaining to Hive below that is supposed to teach you how to do it, a link that they left. And dudes, the halving is not canceled. Remember that. Everything else seems to be canceled. The halving is not quarantined. The halving is going to happen in 51 days. I linked to that below. So spread the halving hype. If Business Insider is talking about Bitcoin again, they're one step closer to talking about the halving. And who knows? If people are logical, we'll get out of this virus doom hole that everybody seems to be in. They'll get that malaria pill out to people, and we'll see. But it's so funny how the media won't talk about most of the media won't talk about the malaria pill. We might have something that's basically a cure, and they won't talk about it because that doesn't sell. It sells to scare more, to talk about this politician that got the disease, or this famous person, or this young person who they forget to mention was already sick. All right. So I was outside earlier today on the streets of LA. It was enjoyable. A police helicopter flew over. No, it's totally safe out there. I saw 2 cops afterwards, after when I was running. It was the first cop cars I'd seen in a while. So dudes in LA, dudes everywhere. They can't, in the United States, they can't enforce these things that they claim that they can. I don't think they even claim that they can enforce it. They're just trying to scare people to stay in their houses. We'll get back to productivity one of these days. So I linked to a Fox News article about the whole people, about these governor of New York just trying to position himself to people clamoring for the governor of New York to become the president because he's been such an authoritarian. I mean, that's what we've gotten to. Like, people who are like begging for martial law and want someone who leans that way. So they want someone who's stricter than the current president. And there again, Cuomo tries to guilt people into non-compliance. Guilt people, who participate in non-compliance. And of course, I'm all about the non-compliance. That's what my whole video was about earlier today. That was non-compliant. It's probably Governor Newsom doesn't want people making videos out in the streets of LA, but I was doing that. Now, I do want to say this whole virus panic thing. I said this earlier, and I just want to clear it up. I linked to the pertinent links again. It's a mass movement, and in the sense that Eric Hoffer wrote about mass movements in the book The True Believer. And mass movements are basically unified action and self-sacrifice. And they need a leader. And so this whole virus panic is definitely about unified action and self-sacrifice. It is not about the individual. It is about, hey, we're not going to work anymore so that the whole world can be saved, so the old people can be saved. I'm going to sacrifice myself for the greater good of the state, the fascist state. So, and united action, we all have to do this. And so it's great, this looking over what True Believer and what mass movements are all about. It's just amazing how so many people out there are mindlessly joining this mass movement, which I call, what do I call this? Virus panic. All right. So I've already said it, the unknown. I'm excited. I'm excited about the unknown. I don't know what's going to come next, man. This is quite an adventure in the Bitcoin overlay. What's next for Bitcoin? When's it gonna? When are all these people going to wake up to it, man? It's pretty exciting. All right, I'll talk about that next time. Yeah, my shows. It's about getting out of that panic prison. So that's why if you support the show by spreading the word, you're going to get more and more people out of the panic prison. We'll all return to productivity again. You're going to help yourself. Yeah, Max, that's a good point. The halving could line up with the economic rebound. It's unknown though. It's unknown. That would be quite a quick economic rebound though. That's 51 days away. But it's unknown. Crazier things have happened, right? Well, I don't know if crazier things have happened. I mean, this is one of the craziest things that's ever happened. Shut down the entire economy of the world because they want ventilators available for people who will get on the ventilators, and 95% of them will die anyway. And why can't old people just lock themselves? Okay, we've been through this a million times. But we'll get through it some more later on. I don't know if I can do these late shows anymore, man. I've done 2 shows today. You guys really got to spread the word for me out there, dudes. Or, yeah. Okay. At least read the links below or something. So the government is just doing something to do something. So people think they're smart. So yeah, a lot of it is about, they don't have to do anything, but again, they're trying to outdo one another. So in the end of the day, they can say, when it's all said and done, hey, look, we did something, so we made a difference, even though what they're doing isn't really making a difference at all. And now the state is they're setting a precedent. They can shut down the economy. So people are used to it now, and they're going to beg for it in the future, possibly. It's expanding government power. So speak up. We're going to get socialized medicine. Speak up now, people. And Carl Denninger at marketticker.org, I linked to him. He speaks up against this. By the way, mint the coin was trending. That's an idea that actually someone else came up with in 2013. What's that New York Times guy's name? I forgot his name. He came up with it originally, but now it's come up again to mint a coin, a $1 trillion coin. And so if they mint a coin, they don't have to pay interest on it, like with the Federal Reserve. Okay, good point, but it's still printing dollars, et cetera, et cetera. It's going to cause similar problems. That's why you should be buying real assets with that fiat. You should be buying Bitcoin with that fiat. A lot of people I mentioned before are buying rotting food with that fiat right now. They're buying so much food that it's just ending up rotting in their fridges. Dude, you don't need a ton of food. If you buy a ton of food that is perishable, it will rot. There's not going to be a miracle. So you just threw away your money. Supermarkets are doing really well. Budget correctly. If you don't have a job anymore, save some of the money, all right? If you do have a job, don't panic. Don't buy a bunch of food and stuff that can just die in your refrigerator. And now's the time. Bitcoin's on sale, and fiat can buy you more than it's going to be able to buy in the future. I will tell you that. Yes, manufactured crisis indeed. And I'll say this. Be ready for the day that we officially hit 20% unemployment, all right? That's going to be a big panic day. So have your hands strong. There's going to be a day very soon where the official numbers are that 20% of the United States population trying to find a job is unemployed. And that is going to be insane. Maybe it's unknown what that it will do for Bitcoin. But I mean, we could see another Black Thursday that we had when everything just drops, when that number comes out. So that's not going to be a fun day. But otherwise, the financial dudes out there, they have never seen anything like this before. And they sort of fear the unknown. So that's why they go into the dollar, okay? They're going to be able to get their way out of this. Do not fear. Do not panic. We all know that there's a lot of unknown out there, okay? Just stick with your system. Stick with your system. Now, over at Bitcoin.com, it says 1 to 2 million Italians can now buy Bitcoin from their bank. So I thought that's awesome. The Italians are all quarantined now. Maybe they're going to buy a lot of Bitcoin. But I read the article. It says by normalizing Bitcoin and exposing 1.2 million customers to crypto, Hype, that's the name of the company, could play a key role in advancing Bitcoin's cause in the region. Customers will be able to directly use their account balance to buy Bitcoin with a daily purchase limit of 500 euro and an annual limit of 2,500 euro. Premium accounts, meanwhile, can buy up to 4,990 euro per day or 50,000 euro per year, with the bank claiming a 1% fee. Well, so if you have a regular account with them, you can only get 2,500 euro worth of Bitcoin. That's not even one Bitcoin for a whole year. Now, 50,000 euro for a year, that's better. That's like 10, right? That's good. But still, I mean, like with Coinbase in the United States, the limits are way above that. So it's a good first step. It's not as exciting as the headline makes it sound, because it'll be easier for them to get a little bit of Bitcoin, which I guess is better than no Bitcoin. They won't be no coiners, but a lot of them won't be one coiners. And remember, the name of the show is the One Bitcoin Show. In semi-popular culture today, Scott Adams, whose videos I watch sometimes, he mentioned something I mentioned the other day. He said, now would be a good time for the government just to start their own cryptocurrency. Why, now that they're going to be giving out all this money, why not now start their own cryptocurrency? He didn't understand why people said it would be an inflationary effect. Again, that they're printing crypto dollars. It's just the dollar in another form that they're going to be able to easily track now. So I don't get why he doesn't see why that wouldn't be inflationary. Printing money out of thin air, even though it's a crypto version of the dollar, it's still the dollar. So, and there's CoinDesk article about using stable coins to pay everyone their $1,000 or whatever we're all going to get. I don't know. And they're saying it's because a reason everyone's giving is because fiat, physical dollars are dirty. So, why not just make it all digital now? And I said that people would use this virus as an excuse to get rid of paper cash. And here's something else that will sound familiar to you people. This is from Marty Bent. He says, people can't sue you for slipping on your Bitcoin. And he's talking about obviously comparing Bitcoin to real estate. And I have said it many times. Apparently, Matt Odell is now saying that real estate heads will eventually wake up to the fact that Bitcoin's a lot easier to use. Real estate's got all these fees and you can be sued. This is stuff I have brought up many times on this show before, but I'm glad other people are bringing it up also. There's no inspector for your Bitcoin. The government can't have a lien and take away your Bitcoin like they can take away your house for not paying your taxes. All right. We've been through so many reasons, so many bad things about a renter. No one can get lead poisoning from your Bitcoin. Now, I linked to this Aaron Jin, who wrote an article about not being hysterical about the Bitcoin panic. And he had these nice charts, and people got really angry at the dude. And he got kicked off of a few platforms, deplatformed him, would not share his article. All these people were saying, how could you write such an article? And he because this is what he said. And it seems very rational to me what he said. Local governments. So I linked to this censored article below. You can check it out and you can see that it wasn't too crazy. And they're shunning a guy who doesn't think we should shut down the world and provide stats. But so he says local governments and politicians are inflicting massive harm and disruption with little evidence to support their draconian edicts. Every local government is a mimetic in a mimetic race to, I didn't pronounce that right, race to one up each other in authoritarian city ordinances to show us who has more abundance of caution. The most effective means to reduce the spread is basic hygiene, he says. Most Americans don't wash their hands enough and aren't aware of how to actually wash your hands. Dude, I read the whole thing. I don't see what was so controversial about it. There are just so many people addicted to the virus panic mass movement that anyone who goes away from it must be censored, apparently. Unbelievable. Defiance over compliance. Speak up, people. Do not be afraid to voice your mind during these times. Be like this dude right here, the Bitcoin Meister. Be like this dude, Aaron, or whatever his name was, and spread the words of the dissenters out there. If we're going to have grown-up discussions, we gotta tell both sides of the story here. But apparently, some people aren't down with that. All right, let me erase that. All right, let me erase that too. All right, I talked about the tax filings already. This guy, what's it, the New York Times or Wall Street? One of these publications wrote about the Maduro's assistant, the young guy who made the Petro possible, but you can't see the article. It's behind a paywall. So I'm curious about it, but I did find a 2-year-old. It's funny. I found they said they've been trying to track this guy down for a while and get his opinion or whatever. But there's a 2-year-old article about the guy also. So if you want to hear about this genius who helped make so-called genius, I don't know if he's truly a genius, who made Maduro's Petro possible, I linked to a 2-year-old article, and maybe you can get through the paywall of the other article. I linked to that below too. And yeah, I talked about the Hive that'll help transition. If you're on Steemit, to transition yourself to Hive. I haven't looked at it yet, but I linked to that Twitter account below that was shared with me. Ooh, God. No scapegoating, people. No scapegoating. But yeah, the Fed will make up to $4 trillion in loans to businesses to rescue the economy, Mnuchin says. Oh, wow. I don't know how anyone can't be in Bitcoin now. Oh, dude. So yeah, I've been running around LA, looking forward to doing my sprints tomorrow. Get outside, people. Don't freak out. I think when I was running today, there was some woman walking her dog, and I think she was cheering me on or something like that. So you can be inspirational just by running out there, getting yourself out there. So more and more hospitals are using hydroxychloroquine in various ways, and it's working. And still the mainstream media is like playing it off and not talk. I gave you insider information about this last week. All right. And sadly, for a lot of people, it's still insider information. And spread the word about it. I linked to Gregory Regano, who was the one who did the initial experiments with it. And he has tweeted out some very positive news about it, of real life uses of it, of it curing people. So, I mean, this is all about making sure less and less people get sent to the hospital and get stuck in the hospital and get put on ventilators. So this is huge. And the United States is finding ways to ramp up the supply, get more of it. This is such a positive development, but everybody wants to be stuck in their doom prison and say, oh, everyone's dying. Look at this. We need to shut down the whole economy. Carl Denninger is just at the tip of the spear on this, in terms of logic and reason. Like, it's not worth it to destroy the whole economy. Get old people to lock themselves up. Use possible cures that are malaria pills or whatever this darn thing is. If you need it, be productive. Not being productive is killing more people in the long run than the virus will. All right. So yes, the Block Crypto has an article. Crypto hedge fund Adaptive Capital is shutting down after it took a big hit during the last week's Bitcoin price plunge. So if you want to read about Murad's fund going down the tubes, it's linked to below. And hey, he was in motion. He tried something. It failed, but at least he tried something. He was productive, and he is a smart dude, and I'm sure he will go on to bigger and better things. But hey, that's a lesson to everyone, though. Control your own private key. You can make your own decisions. You don't need a genius to make decisions for you, because even geniuses can mess up. All right. I said the 20%. CoinDesk article. What is this? Oh yeah, I mentioned this last week, I believe. Coinbase broke traffic records and saw massive volume during the market collapse. I think that's a great sign. I think it's a great sign. Coinbase is a major player in the space. They didn't shut down. They didn't fall apart. And it shows that there were a lot of people that were going over there to buy the Bitcoin. It wasn't just people selling. People were buying it too. So we talked about, and I talked about that last week. But again, if you want to read the CoinDesk article about it, that's great. Now, I've talked about this Dr. Amesh Adalja before. I linked to an article of his below where he says 5 ways to, he talks about a path forward in the fight against the virus. And he talks about 5 ways of moving forward. And he says he doesn't want to shut down everything, that he talks about how shutting down everything is going to be hurting many more people, just like that other dude was saying who got censored. But he says voluntary social distancing, that's voluntary social distancing, with cocooning, it is necessary and critical for high-risk groups to be vigilant about minimizing the risk of viral spread. So if you are high risk, cocoon yourself, socially distance yourself, okay? That's what best. And this guy, Naftali Bennett in Israel, he's actually the defense minister, I believe. He has a very quick little video out there that says the thing they've learned from all of this, the biggest thing is separate the old and young people. That's the most important thing. Stay away from your grandparents. Pound that like button. So we're going to conclude with a positive note here about a boomer talking about this virus. And I haven't been checking out the chats here. Okay, no other questions. Good. No other questions. All right, let me go over to this. Let me read you. Oh yeah. Even after that run, this stuff is still looking nice. I'll read you this tweet. I'm a boomer, and so is my husband, and so are our siblings, and none of us want the economy to close down like it has been for our protection. All but one of us still work, and so do our spouses. Yet the impact that this economy is going to take on our jobs and retirement is going to be enormous. A few of us in the group may even be laid off and try finding work in our late 50s and early 60s. Any boomers who are retired don't want the economy to slow down. Any boomers who are retired don't want the economy to slow down because their 401ks and IRAs are taking a huge hit. On top of that, our parents' IRAs and 401ks are taking a hit. And that means we boomers are now going to have to worry about our 80-something-year-old parents and how they are going to make ends meet now. Not only that, but because of all the countries that are going to be disadvantaged economically from this, he says, well, I'm not going to agree with China is at a definite economic advantage over all of us. And who wants that? Okay, that's your opinion. Thus, those of us who are at risk can do what we need to quarantine ourselves without shutting down the American economy. I don't think Scott's right when he says, and he's talking about Scott Adams, that it's to the disadvantage of boomers to put the economy over health precautions. So that is very true. This person spoke the honest truth. You're trying to save the boomers, but by trying to shut down the economy to save the boomers, there are unintended consequences that this woman just shared. So you're hurting the boomers. This boomer doesn't want the economy to shut down over precautions about her health, okay, over worries about her health. She'll worry about her own darn health. Let the economy be what it was beforehand, so her 401k can be there, so her and her friends can have jobs and make money. Because and so her parents' 401ks don't go down the tube. So that's a real life example. Because some people are saying, "Oh, you care more about the stock market than people dying." Well, this is one of the people who might die, okay, who's more susceptible to this disease. And she explains why the economy is, you just don't shut down the whole world, that people can take personal responsibility for themselves if they're at high risk, and they can cocoon themselves, or whatever you want to call it, lock themselves up. So young people, don't kiss and hug your grandma. I think you all know that. Wash your hands. Everybody wash your hands. And spread the word about chloroquine and all the people that I talk about below. And maybe people will stop panicking, and we'll be one day closer to just the world economy getting rolling again, because there's really no reason for it to be shut down now, with the solutions that are out there, and with the long-term ramifications of shutting down the economy being much worse than the virus itself. All right, so check out my last few shows if you want more specifics on, and check out Carl Denninger too, marketticker.org, link to below. If you want real specifics on the numbers and how the curve, or how we might be further along in this virus than we really think, than the experts are saying, I'm Adam Meister, the Bitcoin Meister, the Disrupt Meister, and it's late and I'm going to sleep. Remember to subscribe to this channel, like this video, share this video, check out the links below, pound that like button, bang that bell button, and I'll say hi to you on the chat before I go to sleep.